Monitoring some icy spots, especially on area bridges and side roads this morning. We'll show you where we see the trouble spots right now and when we expect improvement coming up.
In Fayetteville shooting, a person is dead and another is hurt after being shot earlier this morning. What police are saying about what led up to this. And honoring Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. We're going to show you the events happening for MLK Day today in the Triangle and what you need to know before you step out to celebrate. Well, thanks so much for waking up with us here super early this Monday morning at 4:30. I'm Chris Loving here on WRAL News. We're going to swing over to the weather situation with meteorologist Chris Michaels. Chris, it's obviously like below freezing out there, and I did see some spaces where there was ice on the roads.
And that's why our weather alert day continues until 9 a.m. today. The precipitation long gone, but temperatures are in the 20s, so we're watching for some of those slick spots, especially driveways, parking lots, some bridges, things like that. We're also noticing some trouble in parts of Durham County on I-85, so we'll talk about that in a few moments. Roanoke Rapids 22, Raleigh, Durham 26, Southern Pines 26, Wilson and Rocky Mount at 27 degrees so far this morning. If you notice any trouble spots, if you're out and about early this morning, let us know about it, whether it's through a text, a picture, a video. You can go to WRAL.com/report it and submit your report. Out the door this morning, temperatures low to mid-20s. Then by midday, temperatures near 40 degrees. So after 9 or 10 a.m., we'll start to climb above freezing, and we'll see plenty of sunshine for this Martin Luther King Day. Temperatures will be in the upper 40s heading into the afternoon. Raleigh, Benson 49, Fayetteville at about 51, Roxborough and South Hill at about 47 degrees. I'll show you when we see some even cooler mornings and addressing some more winter weather rumors. That's coming up throughout the program starting in the next few minutes. Chris?
Putting it all into perspective for us, Chris. Thank you. Right now, we do have a traffic alert to tell you about. Look at your screen right here. This is a live look at a crash on I-85 South on the Falls Lake Bridge. That highway is closed right now. At least 2 cars and a tractor trailer were involved in this crash. You can see right there, further back, higher up on the screen, that long backup of cars that stopped on the bridge behind it. The DOT says that it hopes to get the road back open by about 6 a.m. We'll keep watching that story. Let's get to this breaking news story as police say that a person died because of a crash on I-40 near US 1. What you're seeing is video from the WRAL breaking news tracker from around 1:30 this morning. Police say 2 cars were involved in the crash and the road was closed, but now it's back open. Meanwhile, over in Fayetteville, 1 person is dead and another is in the hospital because of a shooting. What you're seeing is video from Tangora Lane and McDougal Drive. Police say they found 2 people suffering from gunshot wounds just after midnight, and 1 person was pronounced dead at the scene. The other person was taken to the hospital and is expected to live. But at last check, no arrests have been announced, and police say there's no threat to the public. This morning, we are working to learn more about an investigation at a Fuquay-Varina store. The WRAL breaking news tracker saw multiple police officers at the Walmart along East Broad Street near Judd Parkway. And we have reached out to Fuquay-Varina police to find out more about what happened and if anyone was injured. Today, to honor the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., there will be local events to honor the civil rights leader. Tonight, the Carolina Theater in Durham will host the screening of a documentary about him. The documentary focuses on the theater. In 1963, it was a symbol of oppression with minorities relegated to the balcony. And so they protested, but in a new and unique way.
Demonstrators would line up at the ticket booth. They would ask for a ticket, they would be denied, and then they would go to the back of the line. Now, when you multiply this over hundreds of people, you have an effect where the theater is no longer making money because no one can get in line to get a ticket.
That one-day protest helped influence the civil rights movement nationwide. The documentary is called Breaking the Booth. It's screening tonight at 5 p.m. at the theater, followed by a panel discussion. A Cary Teaching Farm is hosting a National Day of Service today. Good Hope Farm is inviting volunteers to come help them get their gardens ready for spring planting. There are 2 shifts that you can sign up for, 10 to 11 a.m. and noon to 2 p.m. The first shift was delayed by an hour because of weather, and all volunteers are asked to bring a non-perishable food item to donate to the local pantry, but you must register online to participate in this. And this morning, the annual Martin Luther King Jr. Triangle Interfaith Prayer Breakfast is happening at the Sheraton Imperial Hotel in RTP. WRAL and Capital Broadcasting are proud presenting sponsors for this, and WRAL's Gerald Owens will host that event. You can watch it in its entirety starting at 7:15 on WRAL.com this morning. The Buddhist monks walking for peace will be in the Triangle later this week. Yesterday, they were in Lexington for a peace-sharing talk, and they ate lunch at a local church. It marked the 85th day of their 2,300-mile journey, and they are walking to promote national healing, unity, and compassion. Their walk for peace began in Texas and ends in D.C. Last night, the Lexington Cambodian Community Center provided them with food as they met with people there. Now, if you want to greet the monks as they appear here locally, there are suggestions on the Walk for Peace Facebook page. They suggest placing your palms together and then bow. You should avoid physical contact such as a hug or a handshake unless the monk extends the invitation to you. If crowds gather, you can move to the side of the road to leave a clear path for the monks. And WRAL will keep you informed of their route, arrival times, and any public events. You can keep up to date on WRAL News and all our digital platforms. 3 people are in custody and 1 person is in the hospital because of a shooting on Glenwood South. This happened around 2:30 yesterday morning on Glenwood Avenue near Tucker Street. Police say it started as a fight and the person who was shot does not appear to have been a part of that fight. That person is expected to live. Police arrested brothers Stefan and Keyshawn Bryant as well as Jaden Drawn. All 3 men are charged with inciting a riot. Stefan Bryant also faces charges of assault with a deadly weapon and discharging a firearm within city limits. Durham police confirmed a man died in a shooting last night, and that happened just before 7 o'clock at an apartment complex near Danube Lane and Hebron Road. Police say that the man was pronounced dead on scene, but they haven't identified him yet. They've not said if a suspect is in custody at this time, and so we're asking what led to the shooting, do they have an idea of who is responsible, and did they find a gun? Troopers identified the driver arrested in a hit-and-run crash that killed a teenager in Sampson County. 50-year-old Antoinette WRAL is now in jail with no bond. Her charges include felony hit-and-run, failure to report an accident, and driving with license revoked. Troopers say the crash happened around 6 o'clock Saturday night on U.S. Highway 421 near Josephus Road. Investigators say 17-year-old Savannah Hawkins ran into the northbound lane of that highway, and that is when the car hit her. Family members witnessed that crash and tried to save the girl through first aid, but she died. The Pentagon put some active duty troops on prepare to deploy orders just in case President Trump sends them to Minnesota. That's according to 2 U.S. officials. Now, this is happening as protesters gathered outside the Whipple building in Minneapolis over the weekend to protest ICE. The federal facility is serving as the local headquarters for ICE. Last week, President Trump threatened to invoke the Insurrection Act, and that's why the Pentagon told 1,500 troops to be ready to deploy at any moment. The human rights activist news agency reports at least 3,600 protesters have been killed in Iran in the last 3 weeks or so, specifically after anti-government demonstrations began. The latest deaths include 25 people who were under the age of 18. Over the weekend, Iran's supreme leader said the country, quote, defeated America. He also said President Trump personally encouraged the unrest and referred to him as a criminal. President Trump was also blamed for the thousands of deaths and destruction. In the battle over Greenland, it is intensifying. President Trump has threatened to impose 10% tariffs on goods for 8 European countries if they do not support his effort to acquire Greenland. The EU held an emergency meeting about this yesterday to respond. President Trump says that Greenland is essential to U.S. national security. European leaders have criticized the president's actions, and among them was French President Emmanuel Macron. He said on social media, quote, "We will ensure that European sovereignty is upheld," end quote. Lawmakers are exploring 3 options to ease the situation, and this includes writing a new war powers resolution regarding Greenland. A man is facing charges after investigators say he led deputies and police on a chase in a stolen truck. This happened in Edgecombe County yesterday morning. The sheriff's office says 20-year-old Jamichael Askew rammed several cars and tried hitting law enforcement. They say a deputy eventually stopped him. That deputy shot the tires and then caused the truck to crash. Clemson University has confirmed a case of measles on their campus. The infected person is currently in isolation. The South Carolina Department of Public Health is reaching out to others who may have been exposed. A person infected with measles can spread the virus 4 days before and after a rash appears. Isolation periods are set by the health department. But if a person receives the MMR vaccine within 72 hours of exposure, they might not need to quarantine. Clemson University said nearly 98% of their students have provided proof of their immunity. South Carolina has been dealing with a measles outbreak in their upstate area as well since October. As of January 13th, there have been 171 confirmed cases in the United States since the beginning of the year. The CDC says nearly 85% of this year's cases are found in South Carolina. Other nearby states affected by the outbreak include North Carolina, Florida, Georgia, and Virginia. Well, the college football season will come to a close tonight. The Miami Hurricanes and the Indiana Hoosiers will play in the 2026 College Football Playoff Championship. The Hoosiers are undefeated and looking for their first title in program history, while Miami, currently 13-2, is looking for their first championship in 25 years. Tonight's game is at 7:30 p.m. at Hard Rock Stadium, so be sure to tune in to our 10 and 11 p.m. newscast for the highlights on those. And don't forget, tonight, it is an NBA on NBC triple header. First, the Oklahoma City Thunder play the Cleveland Cavaliers. That is at 2:30 p.m. And then at 5, the Dallas Mavericks will play the New York Knicks. And at 8, the Boston Celtics take on the Detroit Pistons. And you can catch all the action right here on WRAL. Your time is 4:40 this morning. Spain train crash. At least 39 people were killed and more than 70 others were injured. The investigation into the cause as rescue efforts are continuing. And MLK Day in the Triangle. We're going to show you more of the different events to honor Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. today. And we do have a live look at North Hills and Raleigh this morning. We've been talking about the rain and the snow that has left the area, but now there are some slick spots you should know about, which is why meteorologist Chris Michaels is going to talk to you about where they are and where you can expect improvement.
From the WRAL Severe Weather Center, North Carolina's most experienced team of meteorologists.
444, be careful out there this morning. Starting to get reports of crashes, I-85, also I-540 near Aviation Parkway. It's especially some of those ramps and bridges that tend to get colder than just the interstate. So watch for that. Some slick spots on side roads, other surfaces like your sidewalks, your porches, your decks, driveways, parking lots. Those are going to be pretty icy until about 9 o'clock this morning, and that's why we've had a WRAL weather alert day in effect. And it's because of temperatures like this. Most of us 23 to 26 degrees, and even if all you saw was rain yesterday, anything that's wet is now pretty slick. So keep that in mind up until, again, about 9 o'clock this morning. After that is when temperatures start to go above freezing, and we see sunshine and high temperatures in the upper 40s. Tomorrow, it's back to school. Temperatures will be in the low 20s at the bus stop. We'll show you what's causing that and address some rumors about winter weather for the weekend. It's coming your way in less than 5 minutes.
We'll see you in just a bit, Chris. Folks, we do want to get you caught up again on that situation we're monitoring right now. That crash that's closed part of I-85 South on the Falls Lake Bridge. At least 2 cars and a tractor trailer were involved in this crash. And what you're seeing is video that we were able to get into our newsroom showing you this, including that long backup of cars that stopped on the bridge behind it there. This is pretty significant. The thing is, the DOT says that it hopes to get the road back open by 6 a.m. We will be checking in to make sure that happens. All right, a rare weather event for the Sunshine State over the weekend. Look at this. Snow fell in Florida on Sunday. That snow dusted the area, but, there was no significant accumulation. Still kind of gnarly to look at, though, right? The temperatures remain very cold there. The National Weather Service has issued a freeze warning that will remain in effect through this morning. Last January, you may recall, the Panhandle saw a record-breaking amount of snow. About 8 to 10 inches fell in some spots. All right, going overseas right now, at least 39 people are dead after multiple trains collided in southern Spain. Investigators say one train derailed late Sunday and then ran into an oncoming train. The second train was forced off the tracks and down an embankment. Around 75 passengers were hospitalized and at least 15 people remain in serious condition as the rescue efforts are happening. But the cause of that derailment still not quite clear just yet. Authorities say that it is a bit unusual for a derailment to happen on a straight section of recently renovated track, though. Americans who may have defaulted on their student loans are kind of catching a temporary break from the federal government. The U.S. Department of Education said on Friday that it is putting on hold plans to seize tax refunds there or even garnish wages of the people whose loans were in default. The department says it's going to revise repayment regulations in order to align with the One Big Beautiful Bill. The hope is to help student loan holders resume on-time payments with clearer and more affordable options. Volunteers will be out across the Triangle today. Nonprofit Rise Against Hunger will be honoring Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day by packaging meals for people who are facing food insecurity. The organization is trying to package more than 190,000 meals across 2 different locations. The events will be at the Marble Kids Museum and the Rise Against Hunger Warehouse, Raleigh. Both of those events will be from 9 a.m. until 4 p.m. And a full list of Martin Luther King Jr. Day events can be found on our website, WRAL.com. Also, to honor MLK Day, Book Harvest in Durham is hosting their 15th annual Big Book Drive and Community Celebration. That event runs from 1 to 4 at Boxyard in Research Triangle Park. You are invited to donate new or even gently used children's books or to stop on by and enjoy that celebration. All right, let's go back to the weather situation with meteorologist Chris Michaels. Chris, I was talking about it earlier. I was driving into work, Atlantic Avenue, several different icy spots that I saw along the way.
Yeah, you know, especially as road temperatures go below 25, that's when you have to watch for those icy spots. This is a product that's exclusive to us here at WRAL, and it's the road temperatures. Again, they're in the upper 20s in the Sandhills, so you may see a few slick spots, but that concern is greater, especially as you go from the triangle northward, where your road temperatures are lower. So definitely be watching out for that as we go through the next several hours up until about 9 or 10 a.m. Midday into the afternoon, temperatures climb above freezing. Evening and overnight, temperatures will drop below freezing again. However, we'll be much drier by then, so I'm not expecting any big-time issues as you head out the door tomorrow morning. It's just going to be very cold for the kids at the bus stops, so make sure that they're either in layers or maybe you can sit with them in the heated car up until then. Temperatures teens and low 20s out the door Tuesday and Wednesday mornings. Then by Thursday morning, temperatures will start to climb a little bit. Ahead of this system right here, you see the chance for some showers coming through on Thursday into early Friday. That would just be some light rain. But then some cold air starts building toward the north, and this is a pattern that's starting to get some chatter on social media, and with good reason. When you look at the pattern for Saturday and Sunday, there's actually some cold air in place, so it's possible that we see more winter weather this coming weekend. Has the potential at least to be more impactful than what we saw just yesterday. But with it being 5 to 6 days away, there's no need getting into details that you just know will change between now and then. Watch out for sidewalks and bridges, places like outside the Franklin County Courthouse this morning in Lewisburg, as temperatures start in the 20s. By midday, though, temperatures near 40 degrees and high temperatures in the upper 40s. Plenty of sunshine this afternoon. It'll be a nice and fairly seasonable day. We just have to get through the slickness early this morning. Out the door tomorrow and Wednesday mornings, very cold again. Make sure the kids have the layers, the hats, the gloves, the whole 9 yards. Tomorrow afternoon, having a hard time getting out of the 30s. Back in the upper 40s Wednesday. Then by Thursday, there's your highs in the mid-50s with a few showers. And then we'll keep a close eye on the weekend with updates to come throughout the week on all WRAL platforms. Chris?
Oh, and just a reminder, folks, if you ever see anything out there inclement weather-wise, or maybe a crash where you can safely send us something, you can shoot some video or pictures and send it to WRAL.com/report it. Your time is 4:50 this morning. Hollywood Buzz. Marty Supreme sets a new record, and J.J. Abrams makes a return to sci-fi. We'll talk about what's happening in entertainment. Plus, Dolly Parton is 80 years old. How the legendary artist is celebrating a major milestone. Well, Marty Supreme is breaking records for the Studio A24 films, and J.J. Abrams is leaping back into sci-fi. Here's David Daniel with today's Hollywood Minute.
How do you live?
Well, I live with the confidence if I believe in myself, the money will follow.
The money has followed for Marty Supreme. The drama starring Timothée Chalamet has topped $80 million at the domestic box office, the best ever for a film released by A24. The previous record holder, Oscar Best Picture winner Everything Everywhere All at Once with $77 million.
Bad Robot, which is our production company, we're working on a number of projects.
J.J. Abrams is jumping back into sci-fi. Warner Brothers has slated the writer-director's film The Great Beyond to launch in IMAX theaters November 13th. Emma Mackey, Glenn Powell, Jenna Ortega, and Samuel L. Jackson lead the cast.
I can't work with him. We can't really talk.
Sentimental value dominated the 38th European Film Awards. The drama from Norwegian filmmaker Joachim Trier won 6 awards, including Best Film, Director, Actor for Stellan Skarsgård, and Actress for Renate Reinsve. The awards website Gold Derby has Skarsgård and Reinsve among the favorites for Oscar nominations. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Well, legendary music artist Dolly Parton is 80 years old today. The singer's music career began nearly 7 decades ago. She is known for her success in country music, acting, and, she's a cultural icon, right? Well, to celebrate, Dolly has released a new version of her classic song, Light of a Clear Blue Morning. The song features Lainey Wilson, her goddaughter Miley Cyrus, Queen Latifah, and Reba McEntire. The net proceeds from that release will go to pediatric cancer research. Good on you, Dolly. Happy birthday. Bruno Mars sold more than 2 million tickets on the first day of ticket sales for his upcoming tour, and it actually set a new record for the largest single-day ticket sales across North America, Europe, and the UK in Live Nation's history. Bruno Mars added an additional 32 shows to the romantic tour because of all that demand, and it kicks off April 10th in Las Vegas. Well, tigers from Central America found a new home in Pittsburgh. Carolina Tiger Rescue took in 5 tigers from an island off the coast of Honduras. The island cared for the tigers for several years, but they wanted sanctuaries to give the cats a longer quality type of life. The tigers will first be quarantined and then introduced to their new habitats. Welcome to North Carolina. Ahead at 5 o'clock, we are staying on top of that crash on I-85 South on the Falls Lake Bridge. Part of the highway is closed right now. We'll talk about when DOT hopes to have it all back open. And a fatal crash on I-40 as police investigate a wreck near US 1 this morning. We're working to learn from officials about what led to that crash. We're also talking about celebrating MLK Day. All the events honoring Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. We'll talk about them.